38% of the households within that 7-minute drive time are called trendsetters. Now, do you know who trendsetters are?
Yeah, right here.
What's in that trade area that's missing in our trade area?
Aha.
And that gives us a very targeted short list of potential users that we can pursue directly.
Yes, I love technology.
Create a call list.
Not as much as you see.
If you're the store, this is great information to help you choose where to go.
Still, I love technology.
If you own a site and you're trying to attract, it's a great idea to understand the demographic and psychographic of the trade area that you're in. That's next level stuff.
Always and forever. Always and forever. Welcome to Commercially Speaking. I'm Timmy Barron, ADHD.
And I'm Bo Barron, CCIM.
And Bo is teaching me everything about commercial real estate. And we're having a blast.
Always having a blast.
Always having a blast. Okay, so I don't know if this is coming out before or after, but last recording session, you brought in a guitar and we flipped over, name that tune. And the whole time I was like, oh, I want to do name that tune with the guitar. So that's what we're going to do.
Now, before you actually do this,
Sure.
do you want that directly in my way?
Thank you. No, I don't. I want I want to be able to see your face.
I'm such a producer.
That's great.
Director, whatever.
That's great.
Okay.
I got 3 songs. I'm going to play you a few notes
Okay.
and see if you know it. Okay.
Oh. So is that Jack Johnson?
It is Jack Johnson.
I'm not going to know the name of the song. Yeah, best I got's the artist.
Banana Pancakes. Yeah.
We were just talking about that the other day. Yeah, we were watching the video that went backwards.
Yeah, that was...
Is that song?
That's not this song.
Okay.
That's a different song. This is probably the one that most people know of Jack Johnson. Okay. You ready for this one?
Yep.
I'm excited for this one.
Oh, wait. That's Creed.
It is! Oh, wait.
Oh, which one is it?
Hold me now. I'm 6 feet from the edge and I'm thinking maybe 6 feet ain't so far down.
Mm-hmm. So is it 6 feet? I mean, is that what it's called, or?
Yeah, we'll call it that. I don't know the title of the
You don't know
song.
the title.
If you know the title, put it in the comments. We're not going to look it up.
Perfect. Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2
At
for
least
2.
for the
you
artist.
You got the
Okay.
artist on both.
All right.
Third one.
That's just a feel. Oh, that's Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Get to the end of this tunnel, oh, I'm you gonna keep me floating just for a while. M-A-G-L. Sometimes take a
Jimmy thing.
Jimmy, yeah, just keep me swinging. I like to show you what's inside, so don't care if anyone don't like it. For the chaos you body boss. Sometimes I roll, and yes, God knows, sometimes I think about there.
Very nice.
Read this feeling.
Way to bust out the guitar.
All right. Well, very curious. What are you teaching me today?
Well, let me set this up.
Okay.
This is a broker tool that I'm going to show you that we use. But this podcast's not really about brokers so much. So I want to do this in the context of what an investor might be able to do with this tool. So recently, we had an investor, an owner, call us up out of state. Folks, they got a piece of dirt that's an out parcel of a shopping center. And they're calling us up, and they're like, what do we do with this? Like, they're probably going to list it with us, and our job will be to find them some kind of tenant or buyer. Now, ideally, it would be a build-to-suit deal. Now, have I used that term, build-to-suit, with you?
No, but it sounds a lot like Build-A-Bear.
Build-A-Bear. Well,
in what ways is that similar?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Yeah.
But a build-to-suit is, let's say I am a restaurant, and you own a piece of dirt. I don't want to buy the piece of dirt from you. I want my restaurant to exist on that piece of dirt, and I want to lease it. So you and I could do a build-to-suit deal where you build the building that I want. You're building it to suit my needs, and I'm going to lease it from you.
Okay, yeah.
All right, that's a build-to-suit.
Just like Build-A-Bear.
Is that true?
Yeah, you build the bear that you want to build.
Yeah. Well,
and you take all the little parts, and you put together what you want for your purposes.
Okay. I've never built a bear, but yeah.
Oh, you should go to Build-A-Bear. If you like Build-A-Suit, you'll love Build-A-Bear.
Okay, great.
All right.
So
all right.
This particular owner of this piece of property, they would sell it. They would do a build-to-suit. They would land lease it. Have we talked much about land leasing? Let's say I'm a restaurant, and I want to buy the piece of property, and I want to build my building, my restaurant on there. Not interested in leasing. I don't want to build a suit deal. I just want to buy the land. But you don't want to sell the land. You might lease the dirt from me to me. I'm going to start paying you rent on the dirt, and then I'm going to build my building on top of it. I own the building, but you still own the dirt, and I'm paying you a land lease.
And those typically last a long time, like maybe 80 to 100 years.
You want those to last longer.
Because they might end up owning the building.
That's right.
Right.
Because the useful life of the building is going to be, 50, 60, 70 years. Who knows how long. You want to make sure the land lease is longer than that.
Yeah.
So that, let's say 40 years in, you're just crushing it.
Yeah.
And the land lease runs out. And now the owner of the dirt's like, I don't want to renew the lease. And that building is now mine. Yeah. So you want to make sure land leases are.
The business in the building wouldn't be theirs. It's just like.
That's correct.
Right. Yeah.
You could lose your building.
Right. Right.
So anyway, one of the questions they're asking us is who could go there? And we're evaluating it. And one of the things that I did was a void analysis. And what a void analysis is, and this is what I want to show you how to do today using Site to do business because it's just really cool.
Yay.
A void analysis takes this, whatever the piece of property is, and it assumes a certain trade area for that piece of property. So in this case, I think we used, and we'll just make up an example to show you how to do a void analysis. But let's say it's a 7-minute drive time.
Okay.
Let's say that restaurant can reasonably expect to get 70, 80% of its customers within a 7-minute drive time of that location.
Okay.
So what you do is you take that location, you assume a trade area, in this case, let's just say 7-minute drive time, and then you are going to look at some other trade area, and you're going to ask, what's in that trade area that's missing in our trade area?
Aha.
And it'll literally just tell you, all right, Jimmy John's is over there, but it's not over here. Applebee's is over there, but it's not over here. And it's going to give you all these, it could be restaurants, it could be retailers. You could tell it
Target
what to look at.
Right, there's no Target on 54.
Yeah, could be something like that. Now, this is less than a 1 acre piece of property, so it's not going to be going to be something small, but that's exactly what it'll do. It'll look at this one trade area as a reference point and say, here's everything that's in there. And then it'll look at yours and say, all right, here's all the things that are over here that aren't over here. And it gives you a list. And now I can go pursue all of those. And it's, man, talk about targeted marketing.
Yeah.
And then I could even
Targeted marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Nice one.
Thanks. I could even, where was I going with that?
What else?
I could even, let's just say it's a Jimmy John's.
Uh-huh.
I could take Jimmy John's regional locations and I could compare my site to its current locations and do a suitability analysis that would rank them and say, hey, look, out of your 10 regional locations,
mm-hmm.
this location I have right here would be number 3 on the list. It compares very favorably to your best locations. And so now I'm trying to gather a case to present to Jimmy John's on why they would want to consider this location.
Right.
So it gives me a lot of ammunition to serve my client and go make a deal.
Right.
As opposed to the shotgun approach, which everybody does anyway, which are the 3 Ps. Have I mentioned the 3 Ps before?
We have. It's
put up a sign.
Yes.
Put it online and pray that somebody calls. Right?
Yeah.
So that's passive shotgun approach. Make sure if somebody's looking, they're going to find it. But man, to have the tool set to identify potential users of that space, whether it's a sale or a lease or a build-to-suit or whatever it is, to identify those and then pursue them directly on purpose, because they'd be a great fit here, and be able to make the case to that restaurant or retailer or whatever of why they should consider this.
Right.
And that's like next level stuff.
All right. Can I say this back to you? What you've just, okay. You're in this right now. You've talked to the client.
Yes.
Yes. And the client has land they want to sell.
Or lease.
Or
do a build-to-suit. Or
Gotcha. So all those are, and you just named build-to-suit because that is what they're leaning towards? Or is that just
I think ideally that might be their best case scenario.
Gotcha. And so now it's your job to find somebody to buy or lease it, and because you're leaning build-to-suit, that's just going to help factor in who you reach out to. Is that right?
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially.
But regardless of how the deal structure ends up being, what I want to do is I want to try to anticipate who would be a great user of that space. How can I figure that out? Well, one way to do it is to say, all right, what other locations, what other trade areas are similar to the one I'm looking at right here? All right, if I can identify some of those, then I can say, okay, what's in that trade area that's missing here?
Wow, that's amazing.
And that gives us a very targeted short list of potential users that we can pursue directly.
Yeah.
As opposed to just sending out an email blast, which we'll do.
Yeah.
As opposed to just putting it online, which we'll do. As opposed to putting up a sign, we'll do that too.
Right.
You know, we'll do all those passive marketing things. But
yeah,
and a lot of brokerage companies tend to stop there. They do the passive stuff and then they just wait.
Right. This is another example of the appreciation I gain. You know, it took me a minute to process everything you were saying, but it's like, you just assume someone's like, will you help me lease or buy this? It's like, okay, yeah, let me create a listing, put it up. Hopefully people see it and they want to come. But you're like,
I'm not providing a whole lot of value if that's all we do.
Right. It's like, yeah.
Now,
do you hear that, doctors?
But look, if you're an investor and you own a piece of property or you have a shopping center with some vacancies, like to even if you don't have this tool, to consider at least to go through this thought process of, all right, let me identify a similar trade area or two, and let me go spend a Saturday afternoon in that trade area and notice, all right, what's in this trade area that might be a good fit for my vacant location. Right? That's the same thing. I'm just going to use some technology to do it.
Yeah. Great.
In like 20 minutes, as opposed to spending a whole afternoon driving around and just, do we have one of those over here?
Right. Yes, I love technology.
Mm-hmm.
Not as much as you see. Still, I love technology. Always and forever. Always and forever. Can you name that movie?
It's creepy, whatever it is.
Napoleon Dynamite. Kip.
I saw Napoleon Dynamite, I think, with you first.
I probably.
Probably at Mom and Dad's, and I thought it was rubbish.
Yes.
And then the second time I saw it, I thought it was brilliant.
There's something about that movie.
Yeah. And then when Jay did the dance.
Yeah.
The entire dance.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you not love that?
Oh, that's great.
Jay, if you ever come on the podcast, we're going to make you do the dance.
Yeah.
For sure.
Are you...
I'm in the studio.
You're in the studio. Great.
Just me, it says. I'm all alone.
I'm all alone. There's no one here beside me. My trouble is all gone. Nothing here to find me. But you gotta have friends. Stop it. You name that movie?
Let me log in here to Site to Do Business. But I thought maybe we could use a Chicago address of maybe Happy Monday.
Yeah. Sounds great.
All right. So
I could, if we just need that location or area, I could give you my old address, which was literally across the street. Or we just type in.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Let's do it. Yay!
Happy Monday Coffee Roasters. What we want to do here is we want to define our area that we want to look at, and then we want to create a reference area. So I'm going to go ahead and create both of these sites. But if we first go to our little Happy Monday place, right? We're going to create a site. I'll call it a Happy Monday.
Great.
Create a 7-minute drive time. Click apply, and there it is right now. What's an area that might have some similar characteristics but would be somewhere else?
Yeah, I'd say Bucktown.
So if you're trying to do this like on your own, what you want to do is you want to start off with, okay, what trade areas are similar to the trade area I'm trying to analyze?
Yes.
Right. We're kind of doing this on the fly, but you would already have an idea of that.
Yes. Here's the address, 2338 North Milwaukee Avenue.
North Milwaukee Avenue.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, well, and what is this called?
That's Cole's Bar. Oh, Bucktown.
We'll just call this Bucktown. And let's do a similar 7-minute drive time. Sweet. Now, you don't have to use the same drive time. We could make this as big a spot as anything else, you know.
Right.
Matter of fact, let's just do a 10-minute just to show that you can change things around.
Okay, cool.
So now we have, and you can see this on the map,
Logan Square.
Okay.
Bucktown might be in Logan Square, but yeah, this is Logan Square.
So now what you have is our 7-minute, and you got a 10. Now, what we want to do is we want to say, okay, what's in here that's not in here? And that's called a void analysis.
Okay, sweet.
So go up here to void analysis, and we're going to select our analysis area, which is going to be Happy Monday. Click apply, and then select the reference area, and that's going to be Bucktown.
Mm-hmm.
Click apply. Now we're going to click next, and it's going to select, it asks you to select one of the lists of business types to use in this analysis. For instance, do I want restaurants? Do I want big box stores, retail, clothing, financial, healthcare, etc.?
Okay.
In this case, let's just use restaurants.
Yeah, so like a coffee shop would be under that category? Because we're looking specifically for...
Already done.
Whoa.
There are 470 analysis area voids, 220 analysis area locations. But let's just click on full results and see what it tells us. So there is not a Burger King within 7-minute drive time of that Happy Monday location. So if Happy Mondays is now vacant, God forbid,
right,
and I'm trying to fill it, either I own the building or maybe I've been hired to try to fill it, Burger King, it's not there. All right. Chick-fil-A, it's not there.
Right.
Cozy Corner Diner. So these aren't all like national restaurants. Cozy Corner Diner and Pancake House.
Oh, I love Cozy's. Yeah, Cozy Corner.
Have you actually been there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, yeah. Been
So
there.
it's not,
Gold Nugget.
these are all the places. And there's 470 of them. Wendy's, Wing Street, Chop Suey, Ada Street, Al's Beef,
Yeah.
Antico,
They should put Al's Beef up there.
Asian Cajun. Now that's interesting.
Oh, so these are all the places you couldn't go in a 7-minute drive from Andersonville or Edgewater, where Happy Monday is.
Correct.
Yeah.
So essentially what it did is we created 2 trade areas, 10 minutes in 10-minute drive time in Bucktown. And it cataloged everything that's there that's a restaurant.
Wow.
Right. And then it took the Happy Monday, that 7-minute drive time, that geography that we created over there. And it said, all right, here's my list of all the restaurants that are over here in Bucktown in this 10-minute drive time. What's not in this 7-minute drive time over here?
Yeah.
And that is this list.
Yeah.
They're here. They're not there.
Yeah.
And if those trade areas, and who knows if they are, but if those trade areas are similar, then it would follow that if a location is working really well in Bucktown, then it would have a good chance of working really well in
Edgewater.
So that's the whole area. And like, how long did that take me?
Not long at all.
And half of it was us just trying to figure out how we're going to define the geographies.
Right. And you all didn't even see that because I cut it out.
Oh, you cut it out. Great. So, I mean, this happens. I mean, you can do this really, really fast.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, here's what I did in Owensboro. I took that location, right? And I compared it to Owensboro, except for the 7 minutes around the site. So I said, look at Owensboro.
Yeah.
And compare it. Like, what's in Owensboro that isn't in the 7? I used the whole town. You can do that.
Yeah.
So I used a very large geography to a very small geography.
Okay.
And I used a formal geography of Owensboro.
Yeah.
Like, it has actual boundaries that are defined. It's formal geography. And I created a 7-minute drive time around the site. That's a functional geography.
Right.
Just made that one up.
Right.
You can compare functional to formal. You can do small to big.
Yeah.
Right. You don't even have to come anywhere close. I could say, all right, this area right here is very, very similar to this area in Evansville, Indiana, or this area in Louisville, Kentucky, or this area south of Nashville, or this area in Bowling Green. So what's in those? You could do all these different void analyses, create a call list essentially of here's what's in these locations that's missing here, and just start really targeted, proactive marketing.
And you just chip away.
Yeah. And then when the client wants to know, so what have you been doing for the last month? Well, we've called these 200 restaurants. Here's the feedback we've gotten. Here's these 3 are actually interested in taking a look at the site. We're arranging a tour at this point, blah, 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 blah.
Wow. Wow.
And so when we provide reports to our clients on a monthly basis, you know, some of them get a report because we're doing that kind of work.
Right.
And so it's like we've talked to these 70 potential users of the space, and here's the feedback we've gotten from them, and blah, blah, blah.
With you all, they're getting the 5 Ps.
The 5 Ps.
Yeah.
Okay.
The 3 Ps are put up a sign, put it online, pray, and you all got 2 extra Ps. Prospecting by phone.
Well, it's proactively prospecting by phone.
3 extra Ps with Barron Commercial Group. Yeah, with purpose. There's
purpose.
4. There's another one.
You can throw all kinds of keywords out there. But this is a void analysis, and frankly, that's it. Like I export this into an Excel spreadsheet. We upload it into our CRM.
Right.
And we just start.
Okay, well, I got some questions then. Yeah. Right? If this is it, are you about to show me more then?
No, I mean, this actually went a lot faster than I expected.
Okay,
cool. This is how easy it is to do this.
Okay,
you know?
Well, here's some things that I have come to mind of like, oh, well, what if this happens? Okay. Especially if we're looking at Chicago, right? So you've got a site and you compared the 2, right? But one of these neighborhoods, there's a reason there's not any fast food chains. Like they don't want it in that neighborhood. You know what I mean? There's a McDonald's there. But
you're right. The demographics, the psychographics of the neighborhood. Remember we looked at psychographics?
Yeah.
You can tell, like if they're filled with the type of person that's just kind of sour on fast food, they're very organic minded,
Sure.
you know,
Yeah.
then you can start to cull this list and you can just take all the fast food out of it.
Oh, right.
And say,
right.
based on the demographics and the psychographics of this trade area, these are going to be much more successful here. And I can create or I can present that case.
Right.
Because I've got that demographic and psychographic data. And I can go to that restaurant that farm to table.
Right.
And I can say, look, you don't have a location here. And this neighborhood loves organic farm to table. Like they don't go to Hardee's. They don't go to McDonald's. They don't like that kind of, they like what you do.
Right.
And you should really consider this location.
Right.
You know?
Right.
I mean, you can make that case.
Right. Is that, I mean, would that technically not be void analysis at that point?
No, I mean, we did a void analysis to get the initial list.
Right.
And then on top of that, we're going to use what else we know. So, well, let's just do that real quick.
Because in one of the neighborhoods, we had more families, right? Young families, especially. And when we were looking at Bucktown and Logan Square, you got a lot of, you still got some families out there, but you've got a lot of the hipster crowd, the IPA brew, beer appreciating hipsters.
So I'm just going to recreate this 7-minute drive time around this Happy Monday site. And let's run a report. And let's see.
Oh, sweet.
Let's see the psychographic information of these folks. So if I go to reports and I run a tapestry segmentation area profile, click run report. Can you see the report?
Yep.
Okay. So this is a tapestry segmentation area profile. And what it's telling me is psychographically, 38% of the households within that 7-minute drive time are called trendsetters.
Yep, that's right.
Now, do you know who trendsetters are?
Yeah, right here.
It's probably you, but I don't know. So let's click on here and it'll tell us all about it.
Yeah.
So these are the trendsetters.
Yes.
Uptown individuals, right? And you can see this, correct?
Uh-huh.
Here's what we know. Average household size, 2.12, right? So maybe roommates, right? Medium age is 36, maybe a husband and wife with no kids, right? These are urban living, uptown individuals, small family size. They're probably both working, though the median household income is 63, which I would think is a little low for dual households. But let's see, who are we? Armed with the motto, "You're only young once," Trendsetters residents live life to its full potential. These educated young singles aren't ready to settle down. They tend not to own homes or vehicles and choose to spend their disposable income on upscale city living and entertainment. Dressed head to toe in the most current fashions, their weeknights and weekends are filled discovering local art and culture, dining out, or exploring new hobbies.
Yep.
Their vacations are often spontaneous, packed with new experiences, and chronicled on their Facebook pages. Does that land?
Yeah.
So almost 40% of the people who live within a 7-minute drive time of this location fall into this category.
Yeah.
So if I'm a restaurateur and this is my core client, like if I track them, I might be really interested in that location because they live there.
Right.
So, and you can learn so much more about them. Trendsetter they're singles, living alone or with roommates or partners. More than 75% rent in upscale multi-unit structures. High rent cities like New York, San Francisco, Chicago, and Washington, D.C. are popular. Commuting can take up to an hour. They use public transportation and walking. Image is important to these folks. They travel often, etc. Right?
Yeah.
They are 24%. Wait a second. Yep, 24% Hispanic, 14, almost 15% Asian, 11.4% Black, 57.7% white. Here's the age by sex distribution. Here's their occupation. All right, a lot of them are in management, office and administrative report, sales and related, in the arts, entertainment, sports and media, education, training, and library. Interesting.
Look at that.
Yeah. Household budget. Yep. They spend a lot on housing. All right. 17% more than the average in the United States. They spend a lot on food, a lot on their clothes, a lot on their education. but nobody ever taught them budgeting, evidently.
Yeah, no.
75.5% rent. Okay. And there's just all kinds of great information on these folks. And so anytime we're looking at trying to help somebody figure out what would be a good user of this dirt or of this space, to jump in here and see what's the kind of person who lives in there. And this is 40% of the people.
Yeah. Wow.
Now, if we go back to that void analysis, not to the void analysis, but to this segmentation, another 11.6%. So this gets us to 50%.
Wow.
Of the people. Trendsetters and diverse convergence. No idea what that is, but let's find out who these people are. Diverse convergence. These neighborhoods are a rich blend of cultures found in densely populated urban and suburban areas, almost entirely in the mid-Atlantic, especially New York and New Jersey, or in California. Almost 40% of residents are foreign-born. Nearly 1 in 4 households is linguistically isolated.
Wow.
Interesting. Young families renting apartments in older buildings dominate this market. About 1/4 of households have children. Over 1/5 of households have no vehicle, typically those living in the city. Workers are mainly employed in white-collar and service occupations, especially food service and building maintenance. 1/5 of workers commute using public transportation, and more walk or bike to work than expected.
Yeah.
Median household income is lower, but home values are higher, reflecting the metropolitan area in which they live, et cetera, et cetera.
Wow.
So, yeah, you've got young families with probably 1 kid at this point.
Yep.
Median age is younger, median household income's lower, right? So, again, if you had, and I'm just thinking restaurants off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But if you have all these trendsetters, you're probably going to want nicer. It's going to be a nicer restaurant. Right?
Yeah.
They want an experience.
Yeah.
Right. If you want to attract
or
the diverse
unique,
convergence,
right?
or unique.
Yeah.
Here, it's going to be lower end. Right. Maybe it's still unique and quite an experience, but it's going to be lower end, and it might be ethnic food in some way.
Yes.
You know, that would probably do very well in this area.
Yeah.
And my guess is there's probably a lot of ethnic restaurants.
There is, yeah. So good.
Cool experiences. And that might be a way to go ahead and capture 50% of the people in that 7-minute drive time if you created an somewhat affordable but very good, unique experience, ethnic food. You might be able to attract a lot of people who just live there.
Yeah.
Right. And so if I'm the broker on that deal, or if I own that building, I might be looking for a restaurant like that.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I can show them this data and make a case for why they should consider doing a location here.
Yeah.
And that's void analysis, especially when you overlay it with things like psychographic data like this.
I know. That's what, like, once you have your list, like, where do you go from there? I know we've gone through, you know, all the things that you can do according to CR 102, right?
So when we did the void analysis for my example here in Owensboro, we ended up with 73 on the list, I think, or maybe it was 67. If I have a list like that, I'm just calling everybody.
Right. Yeah.
It's not that big a list.
Right.
So I'm not going to worry about, I'm going to let them tell me no.
Right.
If the list, like the one we ran in Chicago, had over 400, now I might go a step more, run some psychographic reports, and start to cull the list.
Right.
And ignore Applebee's. Like, I'm not calling them. It's not a great fit for this area. I know it. They'll know it. Let's skip them and try to focus on those that are higher probability that the restaurant could actually work there.
Right. And this piece of land, it's in Owensboro. So you created like a 7-minute drive
around that site.
And then in comparison to the rest of Owensboro.
Yes.
Right. Because of the size of Owensboro, like, I'm just thinking of this compared to Chicago. It just seems like there's a lot more factors that you would want to lay on top of that list that you got, right?
Not only that, but what I would actually do if somebody hired me to do what we do in Chicago, which would make no sense, okay? But I would run the demographic and psychographic data. I would put that on a map. I would put that on Site to Do Business, and I would see what other areas are similar demographically and psychographically.
Can we do it?
I'd have to figure out how to do it.
But it's like,
which might be able to play around and do it.
Yeah, because it's like, if you did, so say we got Trendsetters are the highest in the Happy Monday area, Edgewater, right? I wonder how simple it is, or I'd assume it'd be simple enough to see where the other high saturation of trendsetters. And I bet Bucktown would be.
We've had this question before, and I don't know that I can put psychographic data on the map. I can do demographic data. That's pretty easy. But if you go down here, this tells you where the trendsetters live in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Can you see that? No, you cannot.
No,
Let me
I cannot.
share this tab instead. So this is in that trendsetter psychographic tapestry report. All right. And you can see the darks. That's where these people live.
Right.
Okay. And so I don't think we'll be able to zoom in to Chicago close enough to be able to tell, but you can tell a lot of them live there.
Right. Okay. I see. Yeah. What I'm seeing here are just a bit of limitations. Surely we could go back to the city of Chicago and it would show us where the trendsetters live. Or you would think, right?
So here, what we can do is they've updated this and it all looks different. So bear with me.
Okay. No, that's good.
Here's what, this is a smart map search. I've actually showed you a smart map search before, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I don't think we can grab psychographic data. I think this is all the demographic stuff. So,
okay.
Nope, there's psychographics right there.
There we go. I knew it. I'm still on the U.S. map on my end, by the way.
Okay. So let me cancel this and I'll back out.
Okay.
All right.
All right. All right.
So if we're going to create a map, do a smart map search. All right. What I'll do now is go down here to browse all variables. And then if you scroll down here, psychographics are an option. So we want trend, healthy food trends. No, that's not what we want. Data set. This is cool. I've never played around with this before.
Yay.
All right. Okay. So this is not giving us, like, I can't search for where the trendsetters live.
Yeah, okay.
However, we can probably hack this and pick something that's unique to them.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say spend freely on fashionable and brand. They also own the latest in cell phones, texting, trendsetter, explore local artists, avid readers.
Climate change is a serious threat. That'd be one. I bet.
These consumers shop at Whole Foods or Trader Joe's and buy organic when they can. However, their cart is more often filled with prepared or ready-to-heat meals.
Yes.
All right. Well, I wonder if we can find something like Whole Foods.
Yeah, that'd be a good one. Like where we bought our place, a Whole Foods had recently gone in that area.
All right, check this out. Maybe this will help us. Regularly eat organic foods. Disagree completely. Regularly disagree somewhat. Agree somewhat. Use natural organic. Okay, so let's say regularly eat organic food. Agree completely.
Yeah.
This would be an indicator of there could be trendsetters. Now, there's probably some other psychographic tapestry segments that also favor organic food. But if you're a restaurant doing farm-to-table organic stuff, you want to attract them too.
That's right.
So let's apply this to the map. Let me clear this off a little bit. And what we're going to do is I'm going to scroll this over until we're left with only one or two areas of the map that are still on there. So you can see these areas dropping out. They have people who just don't care as much about organic food.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that.
All right, so I've left a few on the map. Let's get this out of the way.
Yeah, there we go.
Scroll in a little bit more. And so here's an area right here, that block group. All right, 393 people in there completely agree that they regularly eat organic food.
Yeah.
Here's another one, 340.
That's a good area,
395, 347. These are people that are highly concerned with organic food. All right, and if you scroll out
There we go.
a little bit further. These are all other areas where people are like, we eat organic.
Right.
And you can see the closer you get to downtown, the more organic they start to eat.
Yeah.
Downtown, very organic.
Wow.
But this would be a way, even though I can't put Trendsetters on the map.
Right. That's a good way to hack it.
It's like, well, what do they care about? And we're talking about restaurants. So, man, they eat it organic. You know, if I were going to try to put a Whole Foods in Chicago somewhere,
Yeah.
and this is what I'd be looking at.
Right.
Or one of the things I'd be looking at.
Yes.
So,
but that's good too. Like when you know what you are looking for, right? You're helping a farm to table restaurant find a place.
yeah.
Yeah. Then it's like, oh, okay.
One of the things I'd want to do
huge.
is like, all right, describe for me your best customers.
Right.
Right. What do they look like? How much money did they make? I'd want to do a demographic profile.
Right.
And then I would also, how do they look at the world? Where do they shop? When they're not here, where do they shop? Where do they get their groceries? Where do they, like the more of that information that I can get, I can put it all on a map.
Yeah.
And I can even create custom variables that are like cocktails.
Right.
So I can say, let's say we had 3 things from our farm to table restaurant tour, and he's like, look, when they're not here, they're Whole Foods folks. Like they're going to shop at Whole Foods, and so I can do this. Right. That could be one ingredient in the cocktail. But then let's say, you know, they make over $75,000 a year. Like my folks are on the wealthy side, so I can add that
Right.
to the cocktail.
Right.
And then, in fact, let's just do it. Yep. Go back. So let's browse all variables. Now I want to create a custom variable down here. This all looks different. And I want to go to advanced custom variables.
You're doing so great with it being less familiar to you. Like
well,
the layout.
it's the same. It just looks different. So I have to,
Right.
So we're going
that
to do organic. Say regularly eat organic food. Okay, so this is what we used. Agree completely. So I'm going to drag this down into my cocktail shaker. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add that to income. So this next one we want is, how do I go back? There's income. Let's go with 75,000 to 99,000.
Okay.
And let's also grab
People with mustaches, right?
100 to 150. I wonder if we could do that.
Yeah.
And let's say
That would blow my mind. If
let's say their education is some college.
Yeah. I bet my guess would be like
Bachelor's degree?
Yeah, at least. Because these seem like people who really put a lot of, and I might be wrong, but would put a lot of weight in their degrees.
All right, well, let's go with graduate or professional degrees, because when we were reading the Trendsetters, that was one of the things it brought up. They're highly educated.
Yes, right.
All right, so let's do that. So what we have here is we have regularly eat organic foods, disposable income 75 to 99,000 and 100 to 150,000. Also graduate and professional degrees. All right, we're going to add that. I'm just going to call this custom variable 1. Click save. Now we're going to apply this to the map. So we've created our own. We're going to apply it to the map, and so we got downtown here, and we got our original trade areas up here. So let's start moving this over. And when we add income and education, say we want to ignore downtown, just as an example.
You can do that.
Yeah, I just moved the map.
Oh, yeah.
Like I literally just moved the map. But here's what's left. There's just a few. Like this is one.
Yeah, Evanston.
So this has 1,819 people that fit that custom variable that we created. Up in Evanston, we've got these 2 block groups right next to each other. That'd probably be a great location. Here's another one. And then up here in Glenview, we've got some more. And so my guess is a lot of the folks in these highlighted block groups here are going to fall in that trendsetter category.
Yeah.
But we've been able to put it on a map. Man, when you're looking at locating a store, you know, if you're the store or the restaurant, this is great information to help you choose where to go.
Yeah.
If you own a site and you're trying to attract something, it's a great idea to understand the demographic and psychographic of the trade area that you're in.
Right.
And then try to anticipate who are the users of space that would benefit from the demographics and psychographics of the trade area.
Right.
And then you go after those people.
Yeah. Yeah. So fun.
It is kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah.
And this is way faster than me hopping on a flight and going to Chicago and spending a day or two driving around, writing notes.
Yeah.
You know, and even in Owensboro, if I were going to do this, it'd still take a couple hours of just driving around and seeing what I've missed and what I can notice.
Yeah.
Instead, I can just do this all right here, and then I can take that list out into town, drive around, make sure, hey, I'm not familiar with this one store. Let's go get a look at what it looks like.
Right.
Let's spend 30 minutes in the parking lot and see who walks in and what they look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then, is that a good fit for the site we're looking like? Does does it pass the eye test?
Right.
You know,
yes.
You can do all those kind of things.
Yeah. Let me ask you, if I'm an investor, right, and I see this episode, I'm like, this is really great, but I really don't want to mess with site to do business myself, right? But I'm going to work with a broker. I would probably want to ask them if they use site to do business. And so my question to you is this common for brokers? I would imagine it's common for brokers that are CCIM.
Well, I'll tell you that all CCIM designees and candidates, those that are working on their designation, have access to this.
Mm.
But I teach designees and candidates how to use this.
Mm-hmm.
And this site to do business is so powerful. It's so cool what it can do, but it's not simple.
Mm-hmm.
And so there are many out there that even though they have access, they just aren't that good at it.
Mm-hmm.
But there aren't that many people that aren't CCIMs that have access to site to do business specifically.
So I wouldn't be able to have access
No,
to
you
it.
could buy access to it.
Oh, gotcha.
You could go pay for it
Right.
and get it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's part of what CCIM provides to its designees and its candidates. So all of us just have it. Now, whether we use it or not, that's a different story.
Yeah. But would you recommend investors be like, hey, if you're working with a broker, ask them if they use site to do business?
Well,
I guess it depends on what it is, right?
You could. But what I would be asking is, explain to me how you're going to proactively market my space or my land. Like, what are you going to do?
Right.
And if it's vacant, they should hear words like void analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, my guess is site to do business is not the only tool out there that can do a void analysis.
Okay.
There's probably something else. I'm not aware of it, but I don't know that I would be because I've always just used this.
Right. This is great.
But you should hear them say, void analysis. We're going to analyze the demographics and the psychographics. That's what you want to hear from somebody. Now, the tools that somebody uses to pull it off are, I think, less important than actually doing the analysis itself.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
if you hear things like, I got a huge database full of people and my email list is huge, and I'm hearing shotgun passive marketing at that point.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But if we're going to, a lot of times when we get a new listing, we'll go into Database USA or DataView, I forget what it's called, and we'll try to anticipate what kind of businesses would work well in this space. Mm-hmm. And then we'll pull the list of all those businesses.
Yeah.
And we're searching not by what's in, like, it's not a void analysis. It is, let's say it's office space and it's 5,000 square feet. It's like, this would be a great space for a professional office. So I'm going to pull a list of all the attorneys, the CPAs, et cetera. And I'm going to build a list of all that. And then I'm going to start calling them. That's not a void analysis. That's just saying, who would work well in this space? Mm-hmm. And then going and grabbing a list of all the businesses that fall in that category within a certain geography. And then you just go after that list.
Right.
When you do a void analysis, it's just a little bit more specific.
Right.
You're doing the same thing. What would work well here and what isn't here?
Right.
And then you can go after them.
Cool. All right. So you already started calling that list, or Todd already called that list?
In this case, we're negotiating the listing agreement.
Oh, wow.
They've asked for the void analysis about 5 or 6 different times, and I finally just had to tell them, look, this is a service we provide for our clients. So as soon as you guys actually hire us, I'll provide you that list and we'll start calling.
Nice.
But you don't get that ahead of time.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the episode of The Office where they're interviewing so many people for the regional manager job. So you got all these cameos. I don't know if you remember that, but like Jim Carrey shows up and Will Arnett, like the one with Will Arnett, he's like, okay, tell us your plan. He's like, well, if I told you that, like, you're going to have to hire me to get that. There's more to it, but like, he was way more vague with what he was explaining, that you would need more context than this, but that's a good lesson too, as well. Like the cards that you hold, you know what their value is and you know how to hold them, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And as gently as possible. We basically just want to communicate. We're not going to, we're not going to provide all the value up front so you don't need us as much anymore.
Right.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Right.
You know?
All right, sweet.
That's it, man. That's a void analysis.
Cool.
Plus some extras.
Plus some extras. That's right. I like digging into it. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, ding that little bell. Please hit subscribe. Leave us a comment. Share this. Let us know what you want us to, what you want Bo to teach me next. We love doing this. If you want to pay us back anyway, leaving us a review on Apple is huge. Yep. It means a lot. And same thing
really
with
helps
YouTube.
The show.
Yeah. Subscribe, comment. That really, really helps us there. If you are on Apple, grab your phone. You'll see our picture there. Click on our name so you're on commercially speaking. And just scroll down. It'll show you a few episodes. Scroll down to the reviews. That's how you get to the reviews, and that's where you can leave a review.
2 other things we'd love to mention. One is we've got a weekly newsletter that we send out that you can subscribe to. We invite you to join us there. It is subscribe.wgbarron.com. It always has one of our latest podcast episodes. It's one way to not miss any of those. We also provide links to great stories about business, commercial real estate, negotiation, culture, leadership, things I kind of just dig and like to read about. We curate that data and send it out every week. Also, I am doing a monthly webinar series with the CCIM Institute called Currently Commercial. And this is where we bring on guests. It's live. Actually, I tried to extract from these experts what they know about AI.
Yeah.
And so we're about to have our 3rd one on July 30th. So depending on when this is published, you'll still have time. You can go to ccim.com, click on education, search for Currently Commercial. And even if you've missed the July 30 session of that webinar series, the next one will be up and you'll be able to find that and join us there. And those have been very, very cool, well attended. Yeah. I've learned a ton. I'm just the host. Yeah. We bring on the experts and learn from them, and it's been a really, really cool thing. So.
Can I go back and access the webinars that have already happened?
Not today, but that I do understand that they're working on being able to go back.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Cool.
So, yeah, right, soon I hope you'll be able to do that.
Yeah, we got a few exciting guests coming up, but yeah, that's it. Thanks for teaching me void analysis.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And don't you feel smarter?
I do. I do. All right, love you, brother.
Love you, man.
Bye, Alice.
Bye.
See y'all next Monday.